What's going on, everybody? Isaac here with Civil Engineering Academy. Excited to be with you today. Today we got a special episode to deliver to you, and that is, Civil Engineering Academy. We've hit our 100th episode of our podcast, so I wanted to do a little bit something a little bit different. I guess it's not too different, but I wanted to go solo today and just talk about where we've been, where we're going, talk about the most popular episodes that we've had to date on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast, and really why we started this whole thing and where I want it to go. So it's going to be a fun episode to detail with you and talk about with you. But today I'm just going to go solo, talk about Civil Engineering Academy, what we've done, what we've created, and excited to share this 100th episode with you. I can't believe we're already here. It's taken a little bit of time to get here, but we're excited that we're here. So I wanted to do something different, something fun. And I would appreciate you joining me on the ride. So thanks for being here. And the episode is going to be coming right up after this. All right, so let's get into it. Welcome to the 100th episode of the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. Excited that this guy is going out. When you start a podcast, there's a lot of effort and energy that has to go into these things. And you don't realize that until you start one. And then you quickly realize, wow, I got to put in a lot of energy to keep these things going and moving forward. We've had a ton of wonderful guests on the show. We've had great topics on the show, and we will continue to have great guests and topics. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody that's been listening to our show. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun for me to make these, and it's been fun to have interviews and bring my brother on, a lot of other guests, and do some solo episodes as well. So it's just been a fun journey for me. And I also want to thank all of my guests that I've had on the show. Really do appreciate them as we've reached out and been able to collaborate on a topic and shared that with the world. So having said that, I wanted to discuss maybe the top 10 episodes that we've aired over the last, we started this in November of 2019. So we're creeping up on 2 years already, which is crazy to me that I've been doing this that long, but it's been a fun journey for me, and I hope it has been for you. So let's go through the top 10 episodes of the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. There's probably a topic in here that you may want to go back and listen to because it's always fun for me to go back and check those out. So let's start with number 1, and that is the first things to do to prepare for the Civil PE exam, which should be a no-brainer for anybody that comes to this channel, because our whole goal and focus for the Civil Engineering Academy website is to help people prepare for their exams, whether it's the FE, the PE. We're going to be coming out soon with our California Seismic and Survey Review course. And we have some great partners and affiliates for the other courses that we refer to as well. So if you are definitely in the market for those, check out our site, civilengineeringacademy.com. But it should be a no-brainer that that's one of the top podcasts. Well, that is the top podcast to listen to, is how to get started preparing for your PE exam, because it's a huge milestone in people's lives. I still remember the day I passed, and it's a huge weight off your shoulders. So go back and check that out if you're preparing for the PE exam, because it's going to help you out, get started on the right foot, and hopefully help you on your journey to pass the PE exam as well. And if you need more resources, you know where to go. Go to our website, grab some exams. We also have our course. You can go check that out too. We're here to help you every step of the way. So that was number 1. All right, the second most popular episode that we produced is that when I came on and announced that we were going to start a podcast. So as we jumped on to this platform and released it to the world, people wanted to find out what it's all about. So that's episode number 2, is my announcement that we started a podcast for people to check it out, what it's all about, what we've done, where we're headed, and the topics and interests that I wanted to talk about. So it's always fun to hear when people start a podcast and why they do it. So it's obviously the second most popular episode is that we started a podcast. So go check that one out if you'd like to as well. All right, our third most popular podcast episode is our podcast episode that details the secrets to passing the FE exam, where I dive into passing that. I believe my brother Mark is on that episode as well. And we talk about the FE exam quite a bit and all the things that you need to do to pass that. Obviously, the FE is the first step that you have to do to pass the PE exam. And a lot of people are looking to pass the FE and they need help with their PE as well. And so we wanted to detail all of that out in those 2 episodes. So it's awesome that the the podcast matches up with our website, with the branding of what's going on with this whole thing. So I'm glad to see that. So most popular episodes have to do with passing your PE and passing your FE exam. And so if you are in the market of doing that, check out those 2 episodes to make sure you are covered if you're preparing for those exams. All right, our 4th most popular episode is detailing the top reasons why civil engineering is a great field to choose. So I decided to do that, I remember, because I was looking back at why I thought civil engineering was a great field to be in. I also like tailoring a lot of my messages to those that are maybe debating on what they're doing in school or even choosing a career path for themselves. And I really wanted to announce to people why I think going the route of civil engineering is a good field to go into. And I still think it is a great field to go into. It's going to give you a lot of skills that are going to help society. And it's really a profession that deals with, taking care of humanity and providing a service that's going to help upgrade humanity in a variety of ways, and all the things that we use, to drinking water, to the buildings that we are in, and roads and foundations and everything else in between. So all the things society seems to take advantage of, or when they know it's not there, they definitely hurt for it. But those are the definitely good reasons to become a civil engineer. There's a lot of other reasons that you should go check out. So that is that's the 4th most popular episode in the Civil Engineering Academy podcast library. So definitely go check that out. The top 5 reasons why civil engineering is a great field. So check that one out too. All right, our 5th most popular episode is an episode where I talk about what is the best career paths for civil engineers. So many engineers, civil engineers, as you get into this career, you end up finding out that there's a lot of different branches that you can go into. And so in that episode, I detail those out, whether you want to head into project management or be a manager, or work in the field, working with operations. Or move up in the company, become a VP or whatever it is. Even own your own company. You can do that too. So really, after you get that PE license, the options are endless. And so that's a very popular episode, simply because we start detailing all the different career paths that you can go into as you go into civil engineering. Don't think that you're simply going to be behind a desk cranking out design work. But if you want to do that, you can. So that's one of the options that you have. So a very good episode. Definitely go check that one out if you're interested in learning about all the different career paths as you get into civil engineering, which routes you can go. So check that one out too. All right, our 6th most popular episode, if I can talk, is where I bring on Tim Miller, who's the director of the chief officer of creating exams with the NCEES. He comes on and we talk a lot about the PE exam now. I reached out to him personally, and that's simply because I thought at the time people needed to hear about what's going on with the exam. It was right when COVID was starting to really get going. People were confused about where their test was going to be, whether it was canceled or what provisions were being made by the NCEES. And the NCEES really had their hands full with trying to organize which conference centers people go to and work with the laws of each state in order to figure all that out. So they kind of got that all figured out. Tim Miller did a good job explaining that. And in that interview, I actually tried to talk to him quite a bit about the pass rates as well, because one of the things that we always harp on and talk about is that first-time takers, your pass rates are pretty good. So 65 to 70% typically, somewhere in that range. But as a repeat taker, it tanks, right? It's like 35 to 40%. So, why does that happen? And we talk about that. But Tim Miller was awesome as he came on and explained the processes that NCEES goes through in creating exams, how they're tackling the COVID situation. And one of the things we wanted to talk about quite heavily was the exam going to CBT, the computer-based testing, which is happening in 2022. So the beauty of CBT is that all your references are PDFs that are searchable. So, but also it's kind of a dual-edged sword in that you don't get to bring in any references that you want anymore. It's not a completely open book exam. All you get is a PE handbook, reference handbook, which you can get for free right now. If you go to nces.org, sign into your account, you can download that handbook if you would like it. But that's going to be your only resource that you can search. It'll be similar to the FE handbook as well. And then you'll also have access to the codes related to your depth exam, and that's it. So they had to bump that up a year. So Tim talks about that in that episode. It used to be a 2023 release. Now it's 2022. So as this is going to be released, people are actively preparing for those type of exams, going CBT. Now, the beauty of it is that the spec didn't change. So topics didn't change at all. Codes got updated a little bit, but for the most part, if you're looking at review courses, all of those should be still valid. The only thing that you need to tailor a little bit of your study time to is maybe trying to deal with the alternative item type problems that they could throw at you. But really, if you're doing really well or decently on multiple choice, I think you're going to be okay anyway, because you're going to know how to solve the problem. So anyway, Tim Miller, go check out that episode. That was a popular episode, and one I enjoyed talking about, and one I enjoyed talking to Tim with about as well. So definitely check that one out too. All right, our 7th most popular episode is an interview I did with my brother as we talk about a day in the life of a structural engineer. Now, there seems to be some thought, I would think, that if you're going into civil engineering, most civil engineers want to become structural engineers. I don't know if that's true, but it seems like that's maybe where people like to go. And then you find out all these different branches you can go, and people choose their own way. But structural engineering is definitely top of the list when people jump into civil engineering itself and want to become a civil engineer. Most do it because they want to design buildings, bridges, etc. So Mark jumps on. I've brought Mark on a few times, and he's a big part of this. So it's really fun to have him on and do these interviews with him. Mark is definitely boots on the ground, heavy civil structural, and so brings an experience level that many people don't have. And so I wanted to bring him on and talk about a day in the life of a structural engineer, talk about what they do, how they handle situations, and all of those details that go into being a civil engineer. So there's obviously a lot of other different disciplines, and I don't think I've interviewed everybody from every type of discipline. If you want to be on the show, reach out. I'm happy to have you on. But that's definitely one of the most popular episodes, because I think when people jump into civil engineering, that's kind of where they picture themselves as designing buildings, bridges, etc. So that was one of our most popular episodes. Go check that one out. That's the 7th most popular episode in our library. All right, our 8th most popular episode is where I detail the most impressive engineering projects in human history. And so we talk about some of the biggest engineering feats that I've personally seen or heard about. So, the tallest buildings in the world, bridges as well, all of these fun structures that are out there that humans and civil engineers have actually built. So the chances of actually working on a project that is, like the Burj Khalifa or something like this is probably very rare. Most of the time, as you become a civil engineer, you're working on stuff that's very common and built quite often. So an opportunity and a chance to work on something of that magnitude and scale would be quite interesting to do. But as I detail all of that, people obviously are interested in learning about what I think are the most impressive civil engineering projects that I've seen. Maybe you have a list of those as well. But if you want to know what's out there, definitely go check out that episode as I talk about that, because it's pretty fun to know what's out there and what engineers have been building, what they have built, and these massive projects that are extremely impressive and definitely an engineering feat that you want to check out. All right, our 9th most popular episode has to do with the PE exam, and we talk about test-taking strategies with my brother Mark. In that episode, we talk about test-taking strategies specifically. Now it's going to be geared towards the paper-based exam, because at the time we did that, it's geared towards that. But those same things might apply as well to the CBT exam as it switches to that in 2022. So definitely go give that a listen if you are studying for the PE exam. The next exam's coming up here in October of 2021. and then you jump right into the CBT stuff. So all this stuff is still applicable. So you go check out some of those strategies when you're taking the PE exam. I recorded that with Mark, and that's our 9th most popular episode, which is a good sign because it tells me that we're hitting the nail on the head here with Civil Engineering Academy and what we want to do to help you pass your exam. So I'm glad to see that's one of the top 10 episodes. But if you're still in the hunt for passing the PE exam, give that one a listen as well. And our 10th most popular episode is an episode where I detail the top 10 engineering firms in the world. I believe it was based on an article and compiling some of the biggest companies that I saw, and we recorded an episode about that. So the top 10 engineering firms in the world. Now, the truth of that is that really, as you get out into the working field, you always have a choice of whether you want to work for a big company or maybe a smaller company or even a mid-sized company. And obviously, if you venture out on your own, you're going to be starting out as a pretty small outfit as well. But, if you work for a large company, you work on a variety of projects. Oftentimes, you don't have to worry so much about where the next project is coming from. Mid-sized companies, you will kind of have to worry about that a little bit as you do business development, figuring out where the next project's coming from so you can build time to it and engineer a good thing, good product. So, and then small companies, you really got to work for what you got. So those are just the different flavors of companies, but I talk about the top 10 civil engineering firms there. If I recall, one of those was like change their name or something. People were quick to point that out to me. So, keep that in mind as you listen to that one. But it's always interesting to know what the top 10 engineering firms are, because as you do listen to those, it might spur some ideas, or maybe you have a desire to go work for them as well, to work on some very interesting stuff out there. And if you don't, that's fine too, but it's definitely a subject we're talking about, and it makes it into our top 10. So it's definitely worth a mention and worth a listen. So go listen to that one, the top 10 engineering firms to work for in the world. And we'll make sure we link all this stuff in our notes as well. All right, guys, so that wraps up our top 10 episodes. Those are the 10 most popular episodes of the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. I thought it would be fun to talk about those a little bit, just to share with you what I see on my end as we watch the numbers on some of these podcast episodes. They're good topics, they're great topics, and we will continue to have more topics in the future and more interviews with great guests in the future as we continue to build this out. So one of the things I also wanted to talk about in this episode is kind of where Civil Engineering Academy started from and why I started it, and kind of where I have a vision for it going as we are here in the 100th episode. And so Civil Engineering Academy started simply because when I was preparing for the PE exam and slugging through that, I was a repeat taker. And as a repeat taker, I wanted to be someone that people could come to as a resource to help them with their exams. So I started Civil Engineering Academy to help people out. I started actually producing exams. I started with one exam, and then it just slowly snowballed from there. So we created multiple exams, and then I started creating a course, and then got my brother Mark involved, and we helped create an FE course as well. And we continually look at where we can add courses that are going to help people with their exams, where it makes sense to. And so we're excited because shortly in the future, we'll be offering a California seismic and survey course for those that need to get their PE exam in California. So that'll be coming out soon. We'll make some special announcements about that as we do so. And one of the other things that I'm really close to launching is I know what I'm doing, people also want to learn about. And that is, I've been trying to help people, and I do all of this on the side of my own career, side of the family responsibilities that I have going on, the side of everything else that's going on in my life. And so it's been a fun opportunity for me to do this all on the side of my own career. And so the thought came to me that there might be other engineers or working professionals that might want to do something on the side of their own careers. So I came up with a course that I will be releasing soon, and I called it Engineer to Entrepreneur. And if you go to engineer2entrepreneur.net, you can go sign up, get a free cheat sheet that's going to help you out, get started. But what I'm trying to do is teach you to create a side hustle based on an online course-based business. And it's a really fun thing to do as you get to see students transform their lives in a certain way. But this can all be done on the side of your own career. So that's one of the things that we're working on as well. But in general, we have amazing partners. We have amazing affiliates that we work with. PPI is great. We work with School of PE as well. Definitely go check them out if you are studying for your exams and need additional problems. And we'll continue to help people find stuff. If you need additional resources, we're going to help people with that as well. So there's just a lot of moving pieces going on. But that explains a little bit why I started Civil Engineering Academy, where we're at right now, and where we're going. And so a lot of the questions I get right now is simply related to our courses. So I have the Ultimate Civil PE Review course going on right now, and many people are about to prepare for the CBT exam. So many of the big questions that are coming in that I see often have to do with upgrading it to a CBT type of exam, make sure it's covered. Now it is covered simply because the spec didn't change at all, right? And so what we need to do though, and some of the things I'm working on, is that I want to point people to equations that are out of that PE reference handbook. Originally, I was pointing a lot of people to equations where they come from out of the CERM, because that is the go-to resource for study. And I think it will still be a good resource for you as you do study for the PE exam. But you will want to know the PE handbook for sure. So, take it as well. If you want the PE or the Civil Engineering Reference Manual, you can go check out civilengineeringacademy.com/PPI. And you can go grab a copy for a 15% discount. And I think it will still be applicable. It will still be a good resource because you still need to practice problems. And so combining practice problems with the CERM is going to help you. But you will want to reference everything out of the PE handbook. So that's one of the questions I get a lot as we sit today. Our FE course is doing great and awesome. So if people are studying for that, go check that out, civilfereviewcourse.com. And like I said, we've got our California one coming out soon. So that's, I kind of detailed where we've been, why I started this, where we're at right now, and kind of a vision of where we're headed in the future. So we will continue to build out courses and material where people have needs and wants, and that makes sense to do. So we'll continue to do that. We will continue to support everybody that's studying on those platforms. And it's just an exciting time to be a civil engineer. It's an exciting time to be a professional engineer. And we are here to help people every step of the way to get there. And so I would just want to thank you for being a member of Civil Engineering Academy, for listening to the podcast. Definitely go subscribe to our newsletter if you haven't done that already. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as we produce a lot of content that we put on there as well. And if you need help with anything, feel free to reach out to me directly, Isaac at Civil Engineering Academy. And then we have some other great resources for you as well. So go sign up to our community at ceacommunity.com. That's our open community on Facebook. If you need help with your FE or PE, it's just open for you, or you need resources or career advice. It's a team of people there that will all help you with your own journey. So guys, this has been really fun for me. This is an exciting episode. I just wanted to detail kind of the history of things, of where we were, our top 10 episodes for our podcast, and kind of some of the things we have in the works and what's coming in the future. So hopefully that was informative for you. This was fun for me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful career, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.